The notion that scientists and mainstream media are deceiving the public about climate change is a pervasive conspiracy theory that has gained significant traction in recent years. Proponents of this idea argue that there is a deliberate attempt to manipulate and distort information about climate change, driven by hidden agendas and vested interests. However, a closer examination of this claim reveals a complex web of factors that contribute to the perceived dishonesty, including misinformation, cognitive biases, and the nuances of scientific communication. One of the primary reasons for the perceived deception is the inherent complexity of climate science. The study of climate change involves multiple disciplines, including atmospheric physics, oceanography, and geology, making it challenging for scientists to communicate their findings in a straightforward and accessible manner. The media, in turn, often oversimplify or exaggerate the results, leading to misconceptions and misunderstandings among the general public. Moreover, the constant stream of new research and discoveries can create the impression that scientists are changing their story or lying about the facts. Another factor contributing to the perception of dishonesty is the influence of cognitive biases and ideological perspectives. Many people approach the topic of climate change with preconceived notions shaped by their political affiliations, cultural values, or personal experiences. This can lead to a selective interpretation of information, where individuals cherry-pick data that supports their existing worldview while dismissing or denying contradictory evidence. The media, too, can perpetuate these biases, as journalists and editors often bring their own perspectives to the storytelling process. The role of special interest groups and lobbying organizations cannot be overlooked in this context. Fossil fuel companies, in particular, have a long history of funding research and propaganda campaigns aimed at casting doubt on the scientific consensus around climate change. These efforts can create the illusion of a legitimate debate where none exists, and can influence public perception by creating a false narrative of uncertainty and disagreement among scientists. Mainstream media, in turn, may inadvertently amplify these messages, giving equal weight to fringe viewpoints and established scientific facts. Furthermore, the 24-hour news cycle and the attention economy of social media have created an environment where sensationalism and controversy are often prioritized over accuracy and nuance. Climate change, as a complex and multifaceted issue, is particularly vulnerable to this type of distortion. Headlines and soundbites often focus on the most extreme or alarmist aspects of the story, while the underlying science and context are glossed over or ignored. This can create a perception that scientists and the media are exaggerating or lying about the severity of the problem. It is essential to recognize, however, that the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree on fundamental facts. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, are releasing large amounts of greenhouse gases, leading to a global average temperature increase of over 1 degree C since the late 19th century. The consequences of this warming, from more frequent natural disasters to devastating impacts on ecosystems and human health, are well documented and widely accepted within the scientific community. In conclusion, the notion that scientists and mainstream media are lying to us about climate change is a misplaced and misleading narrative. While it is true that communication about climate change can be imperfect, and that biases and special interests can influence the narrative, the scientific consensus around human-caused climate change is robust and well established. Rather than attributing the perceived deception to a grand conspiracy, it is crucial to acknowledge the complexities of scientific communication, the influence of cognitive biases, and the role of special interest groups in shaping public discourse. By promoting a more nuanced understanding of climate science and the factors that shape our perception of it, we can work towards a more informed and constructive conversation about this critical issue.